why are all of these women, predictably old white women, standing around outside the courthouse of Lindsay Clancy currently being judged as to whether or not she's malicious in her murder of her 3 children, and their rally, their protest, whatever kind of solidarity, their activist movement, why are they holding up flags for foreign countries? For loads of different foreign countries. Is that supposed to signify world peace or something? This video is not really so much about Lindsay Clancy. It's more to do with the mentality of activists and the professional victims, or the enablers, rather, of professional victims. Now, I don't mean to say that Lindsay Clancy is a professional victim. I actually do believe that she had a psychotic break. I do believe that in some ways she was screwed over by the medical system, as obviously were her husband and her 3 children. I mean, how can you look at it and see, well, she called the suicide prevention hotline and they said, well, you're not holding a weapon in your hand, so it's not an emergency. Okay, bye. I mean, that's a big problem, isn't it? She went to loads of different doctors and such. She went to Harvard's psychiatry clinic. I mean, like the best in the country. And she walks out of there with a bottle of pills. The next day, the deed happens. Like she clearly went through all the hoops that you would go through to be fixed. And the problem with these activists is they always have this mentality that there is a magic bullet that fixes all the problems, and that all you have to do is listen to them, listen to the old woman, and she knows how to fix all of the problems. When in reality, she doesn't really know how to fix anything. And the society that we've set up is one of mental health, an obsession with mental health, an obsession with pills that alter your brain chemistry and turn you into a different person. Maybe, just maybe, this femme-coded obsession with therapy and drugs that change your brain, maybe that is ultimately what has led to Lindsay Clancy being where she is, what has led to her 3 children being dead. Maybe our feminist obsession with therapy is what's caused all of this. Now, I'm not saying she didn't need help. Of course she needed help. She was having a psychotic break. Apparently she had bipolar disorder under that. I don't know how you're supposed to diagnose those 2 things at the same time without a history of it. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like diagnosing a rattlesnake bite when you have lava poured over the wound. Like, they're going to be focused on, oh my God, you've got lava on your leg. What the hell? You've got to amputate that. They're not going to think, oh yeah, they've also got to have some rattlesnake antivenom, because they're not going to know that, are they? The doctor's not going to know that part. And yeah, I think some aspects of the medical system screwed her over, and she definitely could have been helped better in a perfect environment. But that's my point, is that there's not a magic bullet to fix all problems. Sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes people just get screwed. I mean, that's sort of what happened here, I think. And I really do. I really think that it was, I mean, I think the attack here on her, the accusation that she was looking up delivery times and travel times for things like that in order to plot all of this, I think that's incredibly thin, considering the long history of her going to all these different doctors and such. But that's just to frame my mentality on this. This isn't about Lindsay Clancy at all. It's about these people, the activists, and the activist mentality, and the mentality of trying to treat every problem with mental health, when a lot of the times that's not the solution and can actually make it worse.
A courthouse entrance lined with pink doesn't show up Thursday morning in support for Lindsay Clancy.
I'm here to support her because she needed help. She was reaching out and she didn't get the help that she needed.
I believe, Lindsay needs some help, but I don't think it was intentional. And my heart goes out to her whole family.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I do agree with that. But here's the thing. Why are you there? Wait, what are you doing out here in front of the courthouse? What solidarity are you trying to show to her, and why? I mean, we know the why. It's because you're a woman and you're biased. That's the why. You're there specifically because of your gender and her gender. So I'm not saying that's misandry exactly. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily founded in the most rational mindsets. And I don't mean to say that women aren't rational, but in this particular case, women do have a very significant bias in favor of other women when it comes to reproduction. But my question, the first woman, she said that she didn't get all the help she needed. My question here is, what was the magic bullet? What was the solution? Well, she had tons of different doctors. She had tons of different medicine. She went to the best clinic, in the psychiatric clinic in the entire country, as far as I'm aware, Harvard's, McLean's. Like, she had a husband, she had a mother, she had a sister, she had females in her life helping her. She was a nurse herself. I mean, she worked in a hospital. Like, she tried everything she could have. And like I said, she did get she did get screwed over at times, like calling the suicide prevention hotline, and they said, well, too bad, Chuck. But I just don't see that there was anything else that could have been done besides forcibly putting her in a straitjacket. And I don't know, maybe that's a solution. It's not like I know the pipeline for how these things go down, but my problem isn't really with Lindsay Clancy and all of that. You know, I just think that it's like, it's a tragedy, and tragedies happen, and there's really nothing you can do about it when it does happen. My problem is, like, what are all these people doing? Why are they there? What do they think is going to occur from their mentality? What resolution do they want? Why are they waving around the flags of foreign countries for the sake of some woman who murdered her children as a postpartum psychosis? I don't even know if it's technically classified as murder. I guess that's the entire point of the trial. But why are they there? What's their resolution that they want? What will make them happy? And isn't that the question? What will make them happy? Why are all these women there? Well, it's to make themselves happy. They're trying to pat themselves on the back and become a hero. The resolution for them is to find the woman guiltless. Now, whether or not she is or isn't guiltless, I mean, that's up to them to decide. Personally, I think if you're having a psychotic break, you'd have to be guiltless. But why are they there? It's not for Lindsay Clancy's sake. It's not going to change anything insofar as the jury's ruling. They're there for themselves. And this economy of activism and everything that goes into that, like TikTok, YouTube, everything that's, I mean, I guess this video as well, this economy we've created regarding basically crazy old white people, it's really starting to grind my gears.
Morning. So I see probably around 200 Lindsay Clancy supporters. They've been filing in for over an hour now, and they are here for the stand in peace, in solidarity and in support of Lindsay Clancy. I see women, men, children, people of all ages that are here.
Yeah, well, the men are forced to be there, as are the children, obviously. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, the 5-year-old, they showed up at the courthouse to stand in solidarity. What does that even mean? What does it mean to stand in solidarity with her? That's my question.
Most just wearing all kinds of shades of pink. They have their...
You mean like you, Fox News reporter, wearing pink? Should you really be doing that? Like, morally?
This lot next to me, and they aren't really supposed to hold signs. They're not really here to protest. They're just here to stand in silence and to show...
What the fuck does that mean?
Support for a woman whose life is on the line, and she is accused of doing horrific things. And a lot of these people I'm talking to say that the healthcare system failed her.
Mom that had postpartum after I had my kids, I deeply feel like Lindsay was failed by the medical system.
Postpartum can look like one thing for one person and completely different to another. Same thing with psychosis. So I just hope they kind of take into play that everything is different for everyone, and that Lindsay was severely struggling and she was severely failed.
Both sides can be true, that I can support women and women's health, their mental health. But on the other hand, I feel that mass shooters, school shooters, etc., have all had mental issues in some capacity. And I don't feel that they should just be put in a hospital.
What is justice here?
I feel life in prison.
Life in prison. I mean... Now, she's wearing the red shirt. Now, apparently the red shirt is designed... I'm not into the culture of this, but according to the news anchor here, or the reporter, according to her, the red shirt means that they're there for the sake of the victims, which are the 3 children. I mean, if you believe she had a psychotic break, then she's also a victim, as is the husband and everyone else involved in this, which I think is the case. But I do think that it's really weird that you have hundreds of women showing up, and it feels like projection to me. It feels like it's projection, whether the one woman had postpartum herself or these other women who just feel like, I mean, honestly, a lot of people, they just want to rule the world, right? Everybody wants to rule the world. They want to be the one who decides. Like that's moral because I say so. That's immoral because I say so. You're not allowed to say that word. Censored. Not allowed to say that word. That's not allowed. That's mean. And I think that's what a lot of this is, and that's where we've gotten to. But that's the status of our mental health society, trying to censor and control everything. And you can't. Sometimes things just happen, and there's no magic bullet to fix it.
And I'm glad that you guys were able to hear that, because you can hear the sentiment of the people that are showing up here at the courthouse. There are at least, I've seen 3 red shirts. So we have
3 red shirts. Remember, the red shirts, very unlike in Star Trek, the red shirts are supposed to represent the dead children.
We have a minority people here for the children, and you heard that he was asked about those who, feel that.
What are they cheering for? I actually think, okay, I'm remembering now. Sorry, I opened this tab like an hour ago. They're cheering for the defense lawyer. They're cheering for Lindsay's lawyer, who's walking around in the background now. That's right. That's how I was going to segue this. So here's her lawyer talking just very briefly.
Will try to convince a jury that Clancy was not criminally responsible, that she was over-medicated in treatment for postpartum psychosis.
From a human nature standpoint, I wouldn't want anyone to have to be in there to look at gruesome photographs of little babies slaughtered and cut up and butchered and autopsy photographs. No. But that's what they want to do. So that's part of a trial. We'll make a decision if she's going to have to sit there through it.
So that's what they want to do. They want to have evidence for the criminal trial, and then the way he phrases it, even butchered. It's an autopsy. They didn't butcher them. They're saying that like the people who did the autopsy are butchers. I mean, isn't that just an insult to them for no reason? They were just doing their jobs, and he's insulted them for no reason. Because, I mean, I know he's a lawyer, and so his job is to spin BS as well, but he's basically saying, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, God's in his heaven, all's right with the world. As long as you don't see the picture of the dead baby, there's no actual dead baby. Therefore, no crime committed, and therefore she's innocent. Like, I know lawyers are supposed to totally BS about things, but this is just very upsetting that he's being cheered for. Remember, all those harpies out there cheering for this guy when he was, I mean, you didn't see him, but he was walking around. I mean, I'll cut back to it just to show you. Right, so I've cut back. Here she is talking to him.
Lindsay Clancy out here.
I have no words.
No words?
Yeah, me either. No words. No words for why there's hundreds of random old white women out here cheering for you for defending a woman whom you're presumably being paid. I don't know if it's pro bono, but cheering to defend some woman who may or may not have had a psychotic break for some murder or killing, at least, of her children. Why are they all here cheering? Again, that's a question I need to ask. Again, why are they all out here cheering? Well, I want to go from one lawyer to another lawyer. This is Bruce Rivers on YouTube. He's a lawyer, it would seem, and he's reacting to this particular case. I really thought it was funny. It's a long video. It's an hour and 8 minutes. If you want to watch it, I'll link it below. But I just thought this particular part, there's actually two parts I want to take of him reacting to cows on TikTok who are spreading misinformation and misandry, or maybe not misandry, but it sounds like misandry. At the very least, it's totally crazy, and not to mention kind of illegal just to accuse someone of murder. But here's his reaction to a couple of those.
And blow it up. And this one got 1.7 million views.
I just saw a TikTok where someone shared this, and I'm sharing it because I have a big platform and this needs to be seen. That is his best friend on the left. That is Patrick on the right. We were so confused about the shoes and the clothing change. Why did he change clothing? Why did he change shoes? It didn't make sense. It wasn't him at CVS. Another person left a comment. They had the image.
I love how certain some people can be about facts. You know, don't you think for 1 minute that if that was the actual case, that this is a triple homicide? And if there was anything to any of this shit, you think the prosecution is in on it too? Give me a break.
The image colorized. Wait till you see this. You guys, this needs to get into the hands of the defense. This needs to get to Reddington. Do you?
Yeah, they don't have it already. Only the people on TikTok have it.
You see, it wasn't him at CVS. It was his best friend at CVS. And this just blows things wide open. Because that means
it's wide open, guys. It's wide open. And how somebody who can't understand normal thinking, it's an acronym figured out, has this kind of platform. It's just beyond me. Can't understand normal thinking.
That means, I don't know if he told his friend exactly what he was doing, but his friend is now an accomplice to murder. And then I'm wondering, does that mean...
Really? Okay, I tell you what. How about you just call me an accomplice to murder? How about I sue your ass? Patrick, if your friend wants to sue anybody, call me and we'll sue this lady for calling him an accomplice to murder. It will be money in the barrel.
I mean, his friend drove to the house and handed him the CVS bag, or did his friend meet him at the restaurant and give him the CVS bag? There has to be camera footage from the parking lots of CVS
Yeah, there has to be. There has to be. Why isn't there? I mean, some people are so full of shit.
The restaurant, they're ring camera footage from the area, but this This is one of the most shocking things that come out of this case that I have seen. I'm literally losing it right now. I am losing it.
No, you never had it.
Agreed. And I wanted to include the whole thing because I actually went to her TikTok to try and find this, and I couldn't. All I found was a bunch of, she's, I guess, an American who went to France, and she seems to be living out her best life. Well, here's one of her TikToks. Me at the same age my mom had her second kid. And she's dancing around half naked in a rave. And this is most of her content, it would seem. Just pretending that she's a child forever. Of course, if she's so proud of that, maybe she should consider the fact that she wouldn't be alive if her mother had done the same thing that she's doing. But yes, procreation, very evil, isn't it? Just pretend that you're a little kid forever, and just walk around naked and film yourself and post it onto places like TikTok that have billions of children on it. That makes you an adult, right? That makes you very mature. And see, this kind of person going onto TikTok and spreading, I mean, TikTok of all places, it's made by China. They disallow long format content, right? It's basically made to brainwash people. It's made to turn people into strippers and prostitutes. It's made to turn people into idiots, it would seem. I mean, it's been very effective, very, very effective weapon. And what are these people all saying? They're saying what I fear the old women in pink are saying, which is that, you know, believe all women. Men are the problem. She's innocent. It was the husband that did it. And I don't know how people are coming to that conclusion, but here's later in his video, Bruce Rivers' video here, he's reading off some other TikTok comments, and like, these people are crazy. They're literally just talking about how your star signs, God, astrology. Like, what is the deal with women in astrology? They're talking about how your star signs of being a Gemini means that, oh, he's a Gemini, so he did it.
But do you think this would be allowed in any evidence?
Okay, so notice anything here? She's got her North Node Aquarius, South Node Leo. She's in her nodal return right now.
It's been a while, but I have to pop on here just to say that I've been following this Lindsay Clancy trial, especially as a mother of two who dealt with a lot of postpartum mental illness.
And that makes her opinion more important than yours, unless you've been through the same thing, of course.
And, just following all their birth charts and birthdays.
And you got that vocal fry thing going. So anyway, I have a latte.
And zodiac signs. He did it.
He did it. He did it because he's a Gemini. I meant to say he did it. He did it because he's a Gemini, so you know that he did it.
He did it.
I mean, how is this? Again, this is an accusation of murder. And these people are totally fine going on the internet saying, well, first of all, saying their opinion matters more because they're a woman, because they have children, because they've gone through postpartum depression, and therefore, and you don't even know that any of that crap's true. Like, if you're sitting there watching on TikTok, you don't know that she went through postpartum depression. Maybe there's some videos in the background or the channel that showed that she has kids or whatever, but you don't know that she went through postpartum depression. You don't know her IQ, for that matter. And this is the thing. I know someone in real life, a woman in real life. As far as I'm aware, they never went through postpartum depression. They have several children. And as soon as this case started, they were telling me that he did it. She's innocent, and he murdered all of the children. That's what they were telling right off the bat. And I started to argue, and then I thought, no, she's crazy. This is the real problem with all of these race wars and all of these gender wars and such. And I mean, religious wars, you sort of understand where that's coming from. They all believe in a magical invisible man who lives in the sky that they can't disprove, right? But with gender wars and race wars, it's much more concrete. But the problem is humans dig in their heels. You disagree with someone, they take it as a personal offense. They dig in their heels, and they not only do they reject everything you say, they then get angry at you. They form a negative opinion about you because you disagreed with them. So it's either completely capitulate to them based off of their argument of white supremacy or misogyny or whatever, or they will treat you as the enemy. It's one of the two. You are either their servants or you are their enemies. You don't have a third option because they're not smart enough. These kinds of people like her, they're not smart enough to even. They don't. First of all, they don't care to research. They don't care to learn anything, to study. They don't know anything about anything except for the fact that they're right. They're the correct moral high ground all the time. So it's just an unwinnable war, basically. They're too stupid to actually make an argument. And so you're just left dealing with retards.
She alluded to having heard a voice. And the voice, according to Lindsay, told her that if she did not follow the command, neither she nor her children would be safe.
Oh, God, it's really making me want a hot dog right now. Sorry, it's just reminded me of something. So, this chaplain here, she's left out one aspect of this, which is a man's voice. It was a man's voice, an imagined man's voice, that with a lot of authority behind it, if I remember right, which was commanding her to murder the children. Like, that's the real story. And so this, I think, it's going to help push. Not everyone's going to look at it that way, obviously. It's not like every single woman thinks about this the same way, but there's a lot of women who want there to be misogyny in this. They want the man to be the villain simply because of his astrology sign, that he's a Gemini. And so the fact that she's imagining a voice, and it's a man's voice, just makes it so much worse. And again, I want to reiterate that this society that we're in, this mental health society, this is not of a man's design, really. I'm not saying that men aren't responsible for it. They do play their part, but there's so much of this that's happening as like a female-coded thing, because they try it. I mean, it's just obvious. Like, democracy and communism is going to be more female-oriented. Dictatorships and empires are going to be more male-oriented. They can both be horrible, horrible, awful things, or good things, just depending on who exactly is in charge. If it's some incorruptible council in a democracy, okay. If it's an incorruptible dictator, okay. But power corrupts, and so eventually they're going to fall to corruption, right? And so whether it's a woman making it or a man making it, it's going to end up being shit in the long run. And mental health is one of those things that's definitely more female-oriented. They think that everyone just needs a stern talking to, and then you can fix the problem. If it was a man, they'd probably just beat you, force you to run laps around the track or something, probably cause you to have a heat stroke and maybe even die or something. Like men would solve the problem differently, and it wouldn't be solved. It would just be a different problem. So all I'm saying is that the mental health issue, it may have actually made this worse, but it's certainly not making anything better. And I think a lot of people are going to be reading into every aspect of this case, including his star sign, and deciding that it's misogyny, deciding that it's the patriarchy, and this is going to be just like, remember Karmelo Anthony, not very long ago, he was found guilty. There was footage of him doing the deed. I mean, it was very crappy, blurry footage, but still footage. There was lots of witnesses. I mean, like hundreds of people around him in broad daylight. And yet you still had tons of people who were saying that Karmelo was innocent. Well, here's some bad news. This is from the Law&Crime Network, which was uploaded 3 hours ago as of me recording.
We have to talk about what Assistant District Attorney for Collin County, Bill Werski, had to say, and what he claims happened in the hours before this track meet on the day that Austin Metcalf lost his life. Because he says that Karmelo Anthony's girlfriend, hours before, told an assistant principal at their high school that the couple had broken up, and that she said she allegedly was afraid. She claimed that Karmelo Anthony was stalking her. WFAA says that the ADA also claimed today in the courtroom that Anthony was allegedly obsessed with guns, fights, and knives. And prosecutors allegedly have a text message that Anthony sent where he fantasized about stabbing someone and licking the blood off the blade. And he allegedly sent a text that said, quote, "I'm low-key on the verge." Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf to death hours later. The jury never heard that.
The jury never heard that. The jury never heard that, but I remember one of the biggest complaints by people, including lawyers and mental health specialists, was that they didn't spend enough time deliberating. That was one of the biggest complaints I heard during this. They didn't spend enough time deliberating. Obviously, there were other complaints about a stacked jury and all of that. There's countless complaints of white supremacy and the fallout of it. Even without hearing this crazy text about him, I mean, it's just an allegation right now, but apparently they have texts of him talking about wanting to stab people and lick the blade off the knife. And then his girlfriend, I mean, presumably she'd have a strong testimony. I mean, don't you think so? If she said she was afraid, like, obviously that doesn't really account for a whole lot because women can lie. So she could just lie about being afraid of him. But And that happens all the time as well. Like little kids all the time, they call up the cops and say that they've been kidnapped. I've seen loads of stories of little girls claiming they've been kidnapped. The cops go on a wild goose chase and find out the whole thing's made up. Loads of stories like that. I've seen it on Cop Slop too, which is not quite as fun to watch because it's only so much you can do to some 12-year-old girl. Like, you can't tase them, right? So they just sit there screaming like a banshee the whole time. But my point is, this is the fallout of activist culture. This is the fallout of a society that is high on mental health. This is just cancer for us, really. Like, I'm not saying there's an easy solution to some of these things. I think with Karmelo Anthony, there was an easy solution. But with this lady, you know, it's a tragedy, right? Like, I don't think anyone would deny that. I don't know why some people want her to be found maliciously guilty of it. Like, I think you should want it. I mean, I guess there's the problem too, is like, if you want it too much in the opposite direction, you're just as bad. Like, you shouldn't be doing mental gymnastics for her either way. But I think the biggest thing is, like, in the society that we've created, where everyone is slowly dying of mental health, as per a thread made about Reckful, a Twitch streamer who committed self-deletion, was made on the hate group of livestream fails. The comment said, everyone is slowly dying of mental health, and it got tens of thousands of upvotes, which is completely untrue. It's completely and totally untrue. It's actually really rare for people to have things like this or anything remotely close to this. And yet, because our society claims that that's the way it is, that everyone's slowly dying of mental health, everyone needs therapy, everyone needs SSRIs, because this is the society that we've created, it's made it impossible to really tell, not impossible maybe, but very difficult to discern cases like this, where people are going in predisposed to the belief that she's going to be innocent because everyone's slowly dying of mental health. And I guess that's the point of my video here, is that we shouldn't be so obsessive with meds, everyone being medicated. Everyone needs to have something that changes their brain chemistry and turns them into a different person. I know a lot of people in real life, like half my family, is on these pills, and it does change them. Some of them pick up and move halfway across the country, and the USA is a big country, and they do it for no reason. Oh, I like the mountains. Oh, you like the mountains, do you? So you moved halfway across the country, and then some years later, they're going to college to be a psychologist. That's just exactly what the country needs. Another white woman, another middle-aged white woman who's a psychologist. Awesome. And that's that's the loop, basically. We've created a loop. Maybe a spiral is a better way to put it. A doom spiral into everyone needs mental health, everyone needs pills, everyone's deranged, no one's punishable for anything. And like the one lady said, that this woman's probably innocent insofar as she had a psychotic breakdown, but what do you do with that? You can't just let her free. She killed 3 kids. So yeah, I mean, a mental institution for the rest of her life. That's my solution to it. Now, all the pink shirts, what do you think theirs are? What do you think the people who are going to be talking about how Karmelo Anthony should have gone free and how he didn't do anything wrong, what do you think their solution would be? Just to let her free, I guess. I don't know. It's just the activism nature of it and the obsession with mental health irritated me, so I wanted to yap about it. But that's all I wanted to whine about for today anyway. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do the YouTube things.